The question facing all of us right now is twofold. What is the line in the sand that is going to make us all say, this is now officially a fascist government? And then, when do we take to the streets? And now the pressing question of today is, did Donald Trump just cross that line in the sand with his morning tweet? Because Trump and his administration have been destroying our democratic institutions and our government by 1,000 paper cuts, making it hard to say, there it is, there's the line in the sand. Will it be the invasion of Panama or Greenland? Will we let that slide? Canada? Or how about when the Trump administration deported over 200 Venezuelans without any due process and then defied a court order? That is some serious constitution shredding. And yet, no one is in the streets this morning. Sorry, everyone, but that's fascism. And the Trump administration has been waging verbal warfare against the judiciary since the first orders against Musk and Doge were written. And of course, when Trump wants to engage in verbal warfare, he sends in noted non-legal scholar and professional liar Karoline Leavitt to say idiotic things. And Leavitt never disappoints. So here's Leavitt laying the groundwork for discrediting the judiciary.
We have judges in our judicial branch who are acting as activists, not real arbiters of the law.
Now, when push comes to shove, this is the bulk of Leavitt's job, playing the greatest hits of the 1980s, like activist judges. It's a favorite Republican ploy. Only justices who go against right-wing causes are activists. I notice Karoline never really goes after U.S. District Judge Matthew Kaczmarek, who right-wingers flock to every time they want a nationwide injunction. He's such a right-wing activist that the conservative Supreme Court had to rein him in. And then here's Leavitt in a more subtle teardown of the court, acting like the authority of the court is under question.
But what about the verbal order, which of course carries the same legal weight as a written order, and said for the plaintiffs to turn around if they were
Well,
in the air?
there's actually questions about whether a verbal order carries the same weight as a legal order.
Well, actually, no. There is no question whatsoever about the validity of a verbal order. The only ones questioning the legality of a judge's verbal order are the Trump minions who get paid to ask questions, so that trained mouthpiece Karoline Leavitt can go out there and claim there's questions about verbal orders. Now watch as Leavitt does the famous duck the question.
But he has repeatedly criticized judges who rule against him, and Elon Musk is calling for impeachment of judges who have opposed the administration. So how are those two things not in conflict?
I have not heard the president talk about impeaching judges. I know you mentioned Mr. Musk's tweet, but I have not heard the president of the United States ask that.
So, it was only Elon that has asked for a judge to be impeached. Okay, I don't buy that argument, but let's remember it. According to Litmus Test Leavitt, only Elon has asked for a judge to be impeached, not Trump. But in asserting this distinction, Leavitt is implicitly drawing the line in the sand that the president advocating a judge be impeached would be serious overstepping of presidential power. Well, whoops. You better check with the boss, Karoline, because he just posted this. This radical left lunatic of a judge, a troublemaker and agitator who was sadly appointed by Barack Hussein Obama. Now that's funny. I have no memory whatsoever of Obama sadly appointing anyone. I mean, generally speaking, he's a pretty happy guy. Anyway, according to Trump, this judge was not elected president. He didn't win the popular vote by a lot. He didn't win all 7 swing states. He didn't win 2,750 to 525 counties. He didn't win anything. I won, for many reasons, in an overwhelming mandate. But fighting illegal immigration may have been the number one reason for this historic victory. I'm just doing what the voters wanted me to do. This judge, like many of the crooked judges I am forced to appear before, should be impeached. We don't want vicious, violent, and demented criminals, many of them deranged murderers, in our country. Make America great again. Okay, so now we have it. Trump calling for the impeachment of judges. And the question is, will the congressional Republicans be his lapdog and go along with it? Certainly, Jim Jordan, the official tool representing a seriously impaired district in Ohio, will happily start an impeachment process. And just as happily, the sanctimonious, porn-monitoring Mike Johnson will hold a full vote on impeachment. House Democrats will certainly stand united, but the vote will still pass the House. Then it will go to the Senate for conviction. And what would happen in the Senate, where they would need 60% to convict? Well, with appeaser-in-chief Chuck the Schmuck Schumer in charge, the impeachment might just be successful. Then Chuck would have to cancel his book tour again. Meanwhile, Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Cortez and Tim Walz are running around the country trying to save democracy.
And there's nothing conservative about an unelected South African Nepo baby firing people at the VA.
So is this tweet the line in the sand? No, it's not. 200 Venezuelans being deported without due process and sent to be tortured in jail in El Salvador was the line in the sand, folks, and we missed it. But taking to the streets is not the only way to fight back. There are 2 congressional seats up for grabs in a special election in Florida, the 1st District and the 6th District. And I know what you might think. Yeah, but those are red districts. And 3 months ago, I would have agreed with you. But Elon Musk has just made every congressional district in the country a toss-up. Districts in Florida? Think about it. Retirees who are about to experience cuts in Social Security and Medicare, and think veterans who are getting their jobs and their benefits cut. What can you do? Call the DNC today and tell them to do more in Florida. The campaign slogans are already there. A vote for a Republican is a vote for Musk. They need to organize veterans and retirees now. Send in support now. The time for decorum is over. Send in the celebrities, send in the politicians with name recognition, and send in your donations to the local candidates. We need to focus on methods that have impact. And even though taking 2 Florida districts doesn't give us the majority, yet, it will definitely strike fear in the hearts of Republican representatives who are way, way too comfortable being Trump's lackeys. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.